Now at 9, it's almost harvest season. We have the details on how to stay safe.
And we have updates on the potential government shutdown. Find out what's to come.
The conflict continues. Find out what one U.S. official is saying about the fight between Israel and Hezbollah.
And a Michigan doctor behind bars. Find out what he's been charged with.
Tracking weekend rain chances. NewsLink Indiana starts right now.
Local news about local people, live from Ball State Unified Media. You're watching NewsLink Indiana.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us. I'm Andy Zelaya.
And I'm Corey Shaw.
As harvest season continues throughout the fall season, it's important to stay safe while sharing the road. NewsLink Indiana's Amelia Winter traveled out to farmland to find out more.
As the harvest season continues throughout the fall, farmers have begun traveling in large, slow-moving farm equipment on roads throughout Indiana. Sharing the road with motorists during this time has raised concerns for not only drivers, but also farmers. Due to the timely schedule the farmers are on, reckless driving can have a negative impact.
But you're always in a hurry to get your crop out because it can, cause loss by damage or just with the weather, causing the damage, or just you have to get it out at a certain time when it's ripe so you make the most profit off your fields. So a lot of times when we're driving, we just want to get to where we have to go and not really have to get over a million times or necessarily worry about the extra people just driving crazy, because there's so many times, honestly, about every field we move to, it feels like you're about to have a wreck at some points because people just drive so carelessly and they're in such a hurry.
For Kelly, this hasn't been the first time she and her husband have dealt with the negative effects of reckless driving.
Like one year, my husband had to get over driving the combine, and people don't think about the height of things, so we have to be careful where we get over because trees can damage our equipment from the top end. And so that was super stressful because he got over for a car and then the tree did some damage to our combine.
Another drawback farmers face is the inability to see motor vehicles because of their size. Although technology has helped improve the farm equipment, farmers still deal with this difficulty on the road.
Most equipment pieces do have cameras on them now, so we will sometimes notice you, but a lot of times we have to turn wide to make turns into fields or other roads. And so if you're trying to pass us near an intersection or you think you want to get around us, just be patient, and a lot of times we'll get over for you.
Kelly and other farmers wish there could be more awareness for motorists while driving through rural areas.
I wish there would be more education for drivers, especially young drivers in rural areas, to be taught how to drive around equipment, because I really don't think a lot of people notice. And almost every time, we're driving equipment down the road, people will pull over right beside a mailbox or an electric pole or something like that. And it's oh my gosh, we cannot get around you and that.
It's important for motorists to be extra cautious while driving through rural areas because they are sharing the road with something double their size. In farmland, Amelia Winter, NewsLink, Indiana.
If you want more helpful information about how to stay safe on the roads during harvest season, go to www.in.gov.
See tracks, think trains. This week, that's the message shared by the Operation Lifesaver, a rail safety organization. The goal of this week-long effort is to spread awareness and prevent rail crossing and trespassing incidents. According to the organization, a vehicle or person in the United States is hit by a train every 3 hours. Not only that, but over 2,000 people are injured or killed annually in railroad crossing and trespassing incidents in North America. In an effort to lower the deaths and injuries caused around crossing and tracks operations, Operation Lifesaver offers rail safety tips for drivers and pedestrians.
Now, let's see what's going on in weather. I heard Thursday is going to be great, so Noah, tell us more about it.
Yeah, guys, a really calm day ahead tomorrow. But if we look outside right now, we see current temperatures across east central Indiana. 67 in Portland, the warm spot. The cool spot, 60 in Marion right now. 63 here in Muncie. As we go ahead into the next 12 hours, we see those temperatures really not moving much over the overnight hours, only down into about 59, 58 degrees here in Muncie. So overall, going to stay very nice across the region. 3 things we're watching tonight in my forecast are tropical winds and some tropical rain here, especially into the weekend. Cooler temperatures as we head into next weekend, and lots of rain. All this and more in my full forecast coming up later in the show.
Congress passes a bill to avert a government shutdown. The House and the Senate both approved the bill this evening that will keep the government funded through late December. In the House, Speaker Mike Johnson didn't have the necessary Republican votes to move the bill over the finish line, but he got support from Democrats, which was more than enough to get 341 votes to approve. 82 Republicans voted against the bill. It includes $231 million in additional funding for the Secret Service. The bill would fund the government through December 20th.
Today, a meeting of the Gulf Council Operation, U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken addressed the fighting between Israel and Hezbollah. The meeting took place on the sidelines of the UN General Assembly. Blinken highlighted the seriousness of the situation by saying, quote, "Risk of escalation in the region is acute."
With regard to Lebanon, we've been working tirelessly with partners to avoid a full-blown war and to move to a diplomatic process that would allow Israelis and Lebanese alike to go back to their homes.
Blinken also acknowledged continuing efforts on a Gaza ceasefire deal. He told the foreign ministers that all parties involved need to keep the pressure on to get a deal done.
The federal trial for officers involved in the fatal 2023 arrest of Tyree Nichols continued today. Outside the federal courthouse, family members of Nichols, attorneys, and religious leaders gathered for a morning prayer vigil. The trial centers on the former Memphis police officers who were seen on police video beating Nichols. The 29-year-old was hospitalized and died 3 days later. Former Memphis police officer Desmond Mills Jr. continued his testimony earlier this morning. Mills accepted a plea deal in the federal case.
Authorities in Michigan raided the home of a doctor in his clinic yesterday as they investigated an alleged pill mill operation. This is the moment Michigan State and Taylor Police raided the clinic in Taylor. While the 78-year-old doctor has not been formally charged, he was arrested at his neurologic clinic as it was being raided. Taylor Police say they've been investigating him for 4 years and believe he may be one of the worst offenders of pill trafficking in the state, illegally prescribing individuals high-level pain pills and falsifying medical records. Police also raided the doctor's 21,000 square foot home in West Bloomfield. There's no words on what charges the doctor may face.
Coming up, the Boeing testimonies continue. Learn what's new.
And a new recall on pet food. Find out which products have been affected.
Dear moms and dads, what you have achieved here today is going to help us and our futures. It is why we are coming up on stage to collect your diplomas.
You know it's true.
Mom, we love you always.
Everything I do.
When you graduate, they graduate. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free and supportive adult education centers near you.
Last week, Brandon met a girl on a dating app. One day after work, he finally found the courage to ask her out. No answer. He started to panic. Was he being too pushy? Maybe it was too
Hey, sorry I didn't respond. I was driving. I would love to go on a date. How does tonight sound?
Brandon tried to play it cool, but inside he knew. A girl so smart, so responsible. She must be a keeper.
Eva Marie smoked 12,000 packs of cigarettes over 15 years. She quit, and now there's a new lung cancer screening that could save her life. You stopped smoking. Now start screening. No matter how much you smoked, early detection could save you. Talk to your doctor or learn more at savedbythescan.org.
Man, it's lonely. Like, going through life's lonely.
There is the therapeutic aspect of music, just expressing how you feel. I'm going to talk to Howie about his feelings, make it into a song.
Welcome back. An NTSB expert said today the Titan submersible had 8 sensors to listen for issues in its hull, but 3 of them didn't work properly as of 2022. A U.S. Coast Guard panel is investigating what caused the implosion of the Titan during the trip of the Titanic's wreckage in June of 2023.
5 people were killed in the implosion. Dr. Don Kramer, the National Transportation Safety Board's acting chief of materials, explained the results of an examination of the material makeup of the Titan.
Investigators examined acoustic emission data from dives in 2022. And when the data was analyzed, it was noted that 3 of the 8 sensors did not appear to detect acoustic events. One of those sensors was located at the forward end of the hull on the starboard side, and 2 were in the middle, as indicated by the red circles on the illustration.
Kramer noted several anomalies in the submersible's material that included waviness and wrinkles in its trimmed ends, voids in the adhesive, and rubbing damage. The Coast Guard's Marine Board of Investigation plans to release a report of its findings on the Titan submersible after hearings are complete.
Boeing factory workers said they felt pressured to prioritize production speed over quality. This according to results of a special investigation by the Federal Aviation Administration. Karen Kafa is in Washington with the latest.
A second day of testimony by Federal Aviation Administrator Michael Whitaker on the agency's oversight of Boeing and whether it's enough.
The agency has to be proactive and aggressive in oversight, not reactive.
Whitaker appearing before the Senate Permanent Subcommittee on Investigations on the same day the results of a special audit of the company's production and safety culture by the FAA became public. The enhanced scrutiny after a January 5th incident where a door plug blew off an Alaska Airlines Boeing 737 MAX jet in flight. The report said employees reported feeling crunched by schedule pressures, and the FAA questioned their training to perform assigned tasks. Boeing said in a statement it is working to make improvements to its production to prioritize safety and quality. And on Tuesday, Whitaker told the House committee Boeing has made progress but needs more time.
I think it's going to take years of delivering that safety message and the employees actually seeing that safety is more important than production before that culture to change.
Meanwhile, at Boeing plants on the West Coast, 33,000 union workers remain on strike and have been critical of Boeing's latest contract offer.
We had not just stagnating wages, but regressive wages.
The new offer made by Boeing Monday would give members a 30% raise over 4 years. The workers seek a 40% bump over the same span. In Washington, I'm Karen Kafa.
Frequent flyers, be warned. As the investigation continues, flights will be affected.
Answer's pet food company is voluntarily withdrawing some of its beef and chicken dog food. It comes after samples reportedly tested positive for Salmonella and Listeria bacteria. The products in question are detailed as straight beef formulas and straight chicken formula. The company says the dog food is being withdrawn out of an abundance of caution. No dog illnesses from the impacted lots have been confirmed. Any of the lots in question should be thrown out or destroyed in a way that kids, pets, and wildlife can't get to it. You can find more information on the FDA's website.
Tropical remnants headed our way this weekend. I'll have the full details after the break.
As a dad, every day is a challenge. To make sure that the time that I have, I spend with them. It doesn't matter how tired you are, you have to try and to teach them. When they learn something new and you can just see in their faces, it's such an incredible moment. It's those moments that are my favorite.
When it comes to making plans, you are the best. What about those barbecues you plan in detail for your family? Or your daughter's first costume party? It was out of this world. The same way you plan each detail for those moments, start planning to protect you and your loved ones from a natural disaster. Sign up for local weather and emergency alerts. Prepare an emergency kit and make a family communications plan. Protecting your family is the best plan you can make.
When tornadoes touched down in parts of our viewing area, NewsLink Indiana kept you informed days in advance.
You do need to be seeking shelter.
Marginal risk of severe weather.
And days after.
The roof has been ripped completely
off of this house.
Giving you a first-hand look at the communities affected.
When your neighbors lose their house and you don't, how lucky you are.
The first to alert you of severe weather before it happens. NewsLink Indiana Weather.
Can't believe you're doing this alone. I've done it before. I remember you threw your back out. How you holding up? Hand me that board. Nothing wrong with getting help. I'm good. I did it when Felicia left. I'll figure it out. I know you will, but you don't have to do it alone, that's all I'm saying. If I promise to look into it, will you drop it and help me build this fence? Now you need my help. It can be a real pain sometimes, you know what? Mm-hmm.
If you or a veteran you know needs support, don't wait. Reach out. Find resources at va.gov/reach.
Welcome back. A calm and quiet day across the region. That's continuing into tonight. We take a look outside right now. 63 in Muncie, 59 South Bend, the cool spot right now, 71 down in Evansville, the warmest part of our state right now. We take a look at today's almanac. We can see right around average. Today's high of 72, actually 4 degrees cooler than our average high of 76 for this time of year. Obviously nowhere near our record high of 91 set back in 2017. Don't really think we're going to see 90s pretty much at all the next week here, but overnight tonight, mostly cloudy, 58 degrees with that north wind at about 5 miles an hour. Might want to grab a jacket, especially if you're headed out anywhere here locally. But looking at tomorrow, going to be our last quiet weather day, at least for the weekend here. We see tomorrow, partly cloudy, a high of 75 degrees, winds out of the northeast at 10 miles an hour, especially picking up in the afternoon. So if you're headed out anywhere, might be a little bit blustery as you're headed out. Now, our next weather maker we're tracking here in the United States is Hurricane Helene, currently right now a Category 1 hurricane just off the coast of the Yucatan Peninsula here, about to move into the open Gulf warm waters here over the next few hours, and is expected to rapidly intensify into a Category 4 major hurricane before it makes landfall in the Big Bend region of Florida late Thursday or early Friday, bringing life-threatening storm surge to most of the southeast United States. And in fact, even some things here in the east central Indiana viewing area here. We take a look at Precision Cast. We are at 7 p.m. Friday. You see those clouds and that rain, those outer bands from what will be the remnants of Helene moving back into the region here. And honestly, they're just going to get slingshot up here into our region and stick around for the entirety of the weekend, making for a pretty windy, gloomy, and just overall rainy pattern Saturday and Sunday. You see here Sunday afternoon by most of those kickoffs for the NFL games. Still going to be quite rainy, especially in our region. Now, I mentioned those wind gusts, and that's going to be the big threat Friday. You see, Friday drive time, 9 a.m., we're already sitting here, 25 to 30 mile an hour wind gusts from the east as you're headed out to classes Friday morning. So something we're definitely going to have to watch, and things are only going to get more intense as we move throughout the day. We see by the time we get to Friday afternoon and evening here, 7 o'clock, we could see wind gusts from 40 to 45 miles an hour here across all of central Indiana. So really something we're going to have to watch. Would not be surprised to see some sporadic power outages here and there, and anything outside that is easily blown away in the wind, talking about trampolines, children's play sets need to be secured safely on Friday afternoon. Luckily though, it moves out very quickly and we're left with calmer conditions Saturday into the afternoon. Now looking at our 7-day forecast here, we see lots of clouds and rain predominating. 75 on Thursday, like I mentioned, that last dry day especially. Friday, going to be very windy, rain especially picking up later into the day, into the afternoon, a high of 77 degrees. Saturday and Sunday going to be the two big rainmakers in our 7-day forecast here. Saturday, pretty much a washout. Sunday, a little bit drier though, all highs in the low 70s. Monday, 75, finally some sunshine in that 7-day forecast. And then Tuesday and Wednesday, we may not even see 70 with those highs in the upper 60s. So overall, guys, going to be a pretty rainy and gloomy pattern. Hopefully those hurricane remnants don't wash out most of the weekend, but right now it's not looking too good for any outdoor plans.
What a crazy set of weather coming up this week.
There's a lot more to get to on NewsLink Indiana. Jack Farrar has a preview of sports.
Thanks, Andy and Corey. One club soars to new heights and the playoff fever has hit Indiana. All this and more next in sports.
It's something about having that piece of paper. Some people think that's worth more than my skills.
I've run this place for 20 years, but I still need to prove that I'm more than what you see on paper.
You just gotta be so good they can't ignore you.
It's the way my mind works. I have a very mechanical brain.
Analytics and empathy. That's how I've gained clients.
I am more.
I'm more than who I am on paper.
When I was growing up, my mom was extremely tidy.
We were trained to put things back where we got them from. One day, when I walked into my mom's house, I felt like I walked to someone else's house. There was stuff everywhere. And just growing up the way I grew up, and to see this transition was very alarming.
When Sean talked to me, it was a wake-up call, and that's when I went to the doctor.
¿Qué color? Perfecto, mijo.
Gracias. Thank you.
What's wrong, mijo?
Donating to a pet's medical care is one of the many ways you can help families in your community. Pets and people belong together. Learn more at petsandpeopletogether.org.
At night, NewsLink Indiana brings you the news before you go to bed.
But Friday mornings, you're waking up with Cardinal Weather, bringing you up to speed on the day's top stories.
And giving you up-to-the-minute conditions from the Ball State Weather Center.
And of course, lots of fun.
I gave mine personality. Look, it's got eyebrows.
Ooh.
My lucky glove didn't even work.
But I also am excited for those fall temperatures.
Start your Friday mornings with Cardinal Weather, live on the Cardinal Weather Facebook page.
Welcome back to NewsLink Indiana. I'm Jack Farrar with sports. After a tough loss in Game 1 of the playoffs, the Indiana Fever are looking to bounce back tonight and force a Game 3. After a 93-69 loss in Game 1, the Fever fight to keep their playoffs alive. The Fever's leading scorer, Caitlin Clark, struggled during Game 1, finishing with only 11 points on 4-17 shooting from the field. When facing a high-powered offensive team like the Connecticut Sun, having those top scorers such as Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston will be essential to secure a win. Game 2 is currently underway in Connecticut, with the Fever ahead 71-70 with 3:30 remaining in the game. With the winner-go-home scenario at stake, the Fever are looking to close this game out and take Game 3 back to Indy. To keep it on the court, one Ball State club has over quadrupled their members since last semester. NewsLink Indiana's Max Robson heads to RC 121 to see how these Cardinals contain their nest.
As the school year picks up, so do club sports. From diving to badminton, Ball State offers a variety of sports for the student Cardinals to participate in. But the flock seems to fly to one nest the most: pickleball. After a successful first semester at Ball State with just over 30 members, the club has to grab a few more paddles as they currently sit at 198 members. With this number of members joining the nest, the club opens itself up to many opportunities for everyone.
Lots of different skill levels and people new to the game. You can teach them and making new friends. That's what this club's pretty much about, is meeting new people.
Although having high numbers may be good, it also poses some added problems for this exec board to figure out.
Mainly the court space. We only have 3 courts and that's 12 people on at once. And even today was a struggle with about 30, so getting 100 people to show up one time would be rough.
But getting new balls and nets is no cheap task for the exec board, so the club may look upon their new members to help grow the nest.
We are planning on charging a small amount of dues. It also helped wean down the numbers of people who actually do want to show up and play, and it'd give us more money for equipment, which we need. We need more indoor balls and especially more nets.
These Cardinals currently nest in RC 141, but that may change in the future as more members start to show up.
There were new pickleball lines painted in the main gym, so we just have to work on getting more nets because it's really empty right now.
In Muncie, Max Robson, NewsLink, Indiana.
To hit the ball onto the fairway, one Ball State team is swinging for success. NewsLink Jalen McKissick has more on the team that is looking to repeat as MAC champions.
Here at the Golf Performance Lab, senior men's golf player Braxton Kuntz is looking to bounce back after a struggling start early in this season.
We've had a bit of a slow start to the season, not the way we would have wanted to start off the year, so it is what it is. It's behind us now, but we got to learn from it. So I think as a team we're a little bit rusty. We could definitely be performing a little bit better, but if you look at what Coach Fleck did before the final round, he really challenged us. He said, you know what guys, it's been a slow start. We haven't been doing our best, but I want you to come out tomorrow firing, and I think we really did.
Despite the rough start to the year, Kuntz believes that the depth of this men's golf team will help them out as the season continues.
I think we're really deep. If you look at who we have in the lineup right now and how many players we have on our team that are competing for spots in the lineup, it's really encouraging. Obviously, we proved it last year. We played really well when it mattered, and I think that's what our team is good at doing. We have the talent, but you still have to rise to the occasion and perform well when it matters most.
Even with the season still being young, Kuntz has been off to a strong start as he has won MAC Men's Golf Player of the Week.
My game's really been trending recently. If I look at the last couple months of golf and how I've seen myself develop, I'm really encouraged, seeing results from the work that I've put in. So I'm hoping to keep it going here through the fall and try and finish off strong.
The men's golf team's next match will be at Purdue for the Purdue Fall Invite, September 22nd through September 23rd. In Muncie, Jalen McKissick, NewsLink, Indiana.
You know, guys, wrapping back to Caitlin Clark and the Fever, it seems like the state is getting what they want. We got a close game. We get to see some Caitlin Clark magic happen maybe towards the end of the game. You know, a tie game, 2 minutes left. This is what the people want to see, and I really hope they can come out on top, because coming back to a Game 3 in Indy, having that home court advantage, that would be amazing.
Sometimes, too, it just takes that one lost game for them to make a comeback, so I'm really excited to see what they have to bring.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm rooting for Caitlin. I think we're going to get this W. We're going to bring it home.
Yeah, and not just Caitlin. I mean, Leah Boston, they have a lot of other people on this team that have been making magic happen. I mean, you can't get into the playoffs without it being a team game. You know, Caitlin has obviously put on a show, made a bunch of records and put up the stats that everyone expected her to do, but the other players of this team were really able to rally around her and, come together as a team, and I think that's why they have made it this far and why I think they can come out at the top of this game. And, I'm really hoping to see maybe a Caitlin Clark buzzer beater or something like that they show on ESPN tomorrow. I think that would be great for state of Indiana, and having them come back to Indy in Game 3, I think having that home court advantage would be great.
Yeah, the women are definitely working really hard, and it's really just great and inspiring to see them get out there.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Jack. Coming up, a baby gorilla in Louisville has a new mom. We have the story.
And a final look at weather when we come back.
Attacks against Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders are on the rise.
My simple solution to the problem was remove people from the scene and help them feel safer. In terms of the hate crimes, I think there is so much more work to be done. We really need to come together and tackle this issue as a community.
I'm an ex-drug dealer, and I'll be your sub today. Two milligrams of fentanyl can be lethal. A lethal dose is in here. Who gets it, I won't know.
It's cheap, it's potent, and it's profitable. The sad reality is, fentanyl is being mixed into everything now.
More kids should know.
There are 16 million children struggling with hunger in America. That's 1 in 5 daughters, sons, neighbors, and classmates who don't know where their next meal is coming from. Yet billions of pounds of good food go to waste every year. It's time we do something about it. Feeding America is a nationwide network of food banks that helps provide meals to millions of kids and families in need. Visit feedingamerica.org to help them feed even more. Together, we can solve hunger. Together, we're feeding America.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The Louisville Zoo introduced a new baby gorilla who has a foster mom to the public this week. Abeo is 1.5 years old. She was born at Seattle's Woodland Park Zoo, but her mom, who was a first-time mom, failed to bond with her, and a foster mom at the zoo also failed to bond with the baby. So officials turned to a foster in Louisville because she already had a successful fostering for what is now an 8-year-old sub-adult gorilla. The pairing with a 40-year-old female gorilla called Quayle was successful this time. The baby and her foster mom are now on exhibit.
It's really great that baby gorilla was able to find a mom.
I know.
That's so sad, but it's such a uplifting story now.
So sweet. What, Noah, can you tell us more about some weather?
Yeah, there's no monkeying around with this final forecast here. We take a look at Thursday, going to be our last dry day for a few days here, 75 degrees. Friday, we see the remnants of Hurricane Helene start to impact the region, 77 degrees, 71 on Saturday, 73 on Sunday. Overall rainy throughout the weekend. Some sunshine Monday, and then down into the 60s Tuesday and Wednesday.
That's all tonight for NewsLink Indiana. Be sure to tune in tomorrow night at 9, streaming live on the NewsLink Indiana Facebook page.
And for news anytime, anywhere, just go to ballstatedaily.com. Have a great night and stay safe.